What's going on, guys? Welcome to season 1, episode 1 of the Grow 10 series, guys. I am so excited. I am so stoked. I hope you guys are. It is fig cutting season, guys, and we are going to blow it out this season. Fingers crossed. All right, guys, before I get started, what I really want you guys to do is pause this video and make sure to join What the Fig on Facebook, guys. If you don't have an account, make an account. It's totally worth it. That group and its leaders are full of knowledge, guys, and super helpful. Dave, Jamie, Amy, all the leaders over there. It's a great place to meet people, get some fig cuttings, get some plants, get some knowledge. An amazing community, guys, so make sure to join that group. If this is your first time joining us, I'm Homer from Basement Figs, Elgin Noise Zone 5B, and this episode is going to be called The Prep Guide. So what we're going to do in today's episode, guys, is we're going to talk about the soil mix and prepping our cup. Last season, I've tried several things, right? My first time ever growing fig cuttings was I used coco coir, some kind of succulent desert mix. I did that 50-50. I had a really good success rate, maybe about 85%, even maybe 90%. A lot of the trees you see in my orchard are from that first round. So the second round, I tried coco coir just by itself with perlite. I didn't like that as much. I had some rooting going on, but I had a hard time keeping them alive. The third round I tried, was HP Pro Mix. I did a small batch. It was close to 100%, or maybe 95%. So that's the route I'm gonna go with. That's the route my friends do. So again, HP Pro Mix, you can buy it at hydroponic stores is probably my suggestion to you guys. It's totally worth it. Pretty much what HP Pro Mix M is, guys, is coco coir, perlite, and then mycorrhizae bacteria in there, guys. And it's just really fine and powdery. Again, you can buy it at a hydroponic store. That's where I get mine. It's roughly around $47 to $50. It's a huge container of it. So it's really worth the investment if you're getting into this cutting game. All right, guys, so the first thing we want to do is we want to get a container to kind of mix in our HP Pro Mix and our perlite. One of my really good friends, MJ Figs, so we had a little bit of a discussion at our meetup. He told me what he used, and it completely makes sense. I'm a big fan of aeration when it comes to plants. Adding extra perlite just makes sense for me. All right, guys, so I have my HP Pro Mix behind me here, and then I also got a 5-gallon bucket. And the ratio that we're gonna do today is gonna be 2 to 1. So we're gonna do 2 parts of the Pro Mix and then 1 part perlite. We're gonna mix that up and see how that goes. So here's a close-up of what the HP Pro Mix looks like. So you can see it has some perlite already, really fine particles. There is so many ways to get this job done. This is probably the hardest part of cuttings. You can go on YouTube, go on Google, you can search, talk to friends. Everyone you talk to will have a slight variation in their technique. They might go with fig pops, they might go with containers, they might just put in sand. Again, this is what I do. In my experience, this is the best. I'm always open to try new things. So if there's a technique that's working for you guys, please let me know in the comments and I'll definitely give it a try. But this is what I'm gonna do this season. So we have 1 container of HP Pro Mix. So I'm just gonna make a lot more than I'm expecting to use, just because I don't wanna make this again. We do have some cuttings coming in. I'm super excited about that, so make sure to stay tuned for that. We're gonna also give away some cuttings, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Follow along in the series. We're gonna do some cool stuff, guys. So we have our second bin. We're gonna dump in here. So you can see the stuff, guys, it's really dry. And that's the reason we wanna make sure this soaks in overnight, just to make sure it gets really hydrated evenly. This fig cutting game, guys, it's really all about water. It's really about understanding water. Fig cuttings, guys, force you to be really good gardeners. You'll learn a lot about watering. When you fail, most of the time, it's because you overwatered. So we're just gonna break this up, get the big chunks out, kind of sloping it to one side of the container here, guys. so I can dump in some of the perlite on the bottom here. So next we have our perlite here. Again, the ratio that I'm doing today is a 2-to-1. So we'll go ahead and put some of this perlite in. Gotta be careful of this dust, guys. So another reason why this perlite added to the mix makes sense to me. I've seen videos out there where you can root cuttings just purely on perlite. So I think the combination of both of them is going to be really good. I love the feel of it already. Nice and fluffy. Nice and airy. The reason why you want to use something like Coca Core or HP Pro Mix compared to a topsoil, guys, is you want it to be as sterile as possible. The number one enemy is fungus gnats. If you use a high organic material or topsoil, the fungus gnats will start to multiply and eat the roots. All right, this looks really good to me, guys. It's pretty mixed in now. Next thing we want to do is we're going to add water. We just want to add a little amount of water. It's so much easier to add more water, nearly impossible to take it out. Once we add some water, we'll go ahead and mix it in. Also, guys, this is the main reason that I'm doing this in steps here, right? And this is why episode 1 is called the prep. And the last thing you want to do is order these cuttings, which aren't cheap, right? You get these cuttings in the mail, you open them up, and then you're like, oh, what do I need to do now, right? There's a prep work that needs to be done. And mixing soil, like I'm doing right now, guys, just takes time. It's not hard, it's just time consuming. And I'm just doing it by zones. I have a lot of soil here, guys. Once you kind of get the grasp of what you're looking for, it just all becomes a feel thing. What you want to do is be able to grab it into a ball, squeeze it out, and just a little bit of liquid runs out. Obviously, I'm not there yet, but I just want to make sure I'm evenly saturating this media. I don't want any dry spots. Just try things, guys. It's fun. I know it's an expensive hobby when we start talking about cuttings, and especially the rare ones. But here's the thing with cuttings for me, guys. It's pretty boring. It's as simple as taking a stick and putting it in dirt, and it could work, right, guys? It really can. But to me, it's just boring. So I want to challenge myself, right? I want to try different things, challenge things that I read, I watch. I just want to try it myself so I know from my own personal experience if it works or not, right? Let me give you some close-ups of what this is looking like. You can see it's pretty mixed in. We'll do a test right now. We'll take a handful, squeeze. It's still not coming out of my hands. Still not forming the ball shape. A little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and add more water. So this is the kind of the moisture we're looking for. Take a ball, squeeze it, and it starts to run out of your fingers. That's where I want to be. Again, squeeze, barely any is coming out. That's kind of where you want to be, guys. Again, my goal is to get it a little bit more than that and have that Coca Core and that HP Pro Mix kind of soak it up really well. So once we put our cuttings in, guys, our goal is not to water it until we see substantial root growth. Yeah, you can just, it's really all a feel thing, guys. I can feel it getting to that point where it's ready. See? We're almost there. Just a little bit more. Just gonna hit the top layer. I'm gonna let that water kind of just seep in there. What we want to do now, guys, is we want to make sure to put a cover on it. Make sure it stays nice and wet. Keep any pests away. And then we'll let this sit until we're ready. So what I highly recommend is maybe making this mix 24 hours, 48 hours before you're gonna actually cut, and probably try to use it within a week or so. All right, guys, so now that we got our soil mix done, let's talk about our containers. Like I said, the two options that I'm gonna use today are gonna be these solo cups. These are 20-ounce solo cups. So this one was 120 cups for $6. Plenty of cups. So that's a steal there. And what I do is we order a lot of takeout. I wish I had more, but these takeout containers are really great. They're a lot bigger. And then there's also the smaller ones too. We'll put those aside for now, and then the various lids for them. I'm choosing to use clear ones. Obviously, they come in a whole bunch of different colors. I actually, later on, you'll see I use different color ones to label them and also to hide the roots. But for the video and for the curiosity, if you have roots, I mean, the clear ones are really the way to go so you can see what's going on. Makes it more exciting. Just so you know, with these solo cups, we need to make some holes for air and drainage, right? Drills work. I have a tendency to crack more than that works. What really works for me is a screw or a nail, stove with pliers, heat it up, and just poke it, right? But for this video, I actually have a soldering iron. We're gonna go ahead and try this out. So this is my first time using this solder iron. So this one has temperature control. We'll just put it on max, see how it goes. Just got a little paper towel just to wipe off the excess plastic. So it's hot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make some holes in these solo cups, guys. So one in the center. Oh yeah, phenomenal, awesome. So much easier than drilling, guys. I told you to follow this channel. You're gonna learn something here. Love it. I'm really loving this soldering iron technique, guys. Just because of the cone shape, you can really control the size of the holes you want. We have 5 holes, as you can see in the bottom there. And then what you can do is, see this one up here? It's not as big as the other ones. All I need to do is just push this further down, and now we got a bigger hole. What I also want to do, guys, is also want to make holes as I go up the cup as well. I am a big fan of aeration, guys. Not just for cuttings, but for when you're watering, for when you're making your soil media. I'm a big fan. We're gonna go ahead and make some holes on the sides here. I'll give you guys a close-up in a second. Love the soldering iron, guys. Makes this so easy. So now that I got some holes going up, I'm going to do another set. And these ones I'm not going to make as big. You can see how I made holes. I made about 5 in the bottom. I mean, they're not perfect. We got some holes on the sides. I think that's awesome. We have these 20-ounce solo cups. We got our soldering iron. 5 holes on the bottom. I went around, did 4. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm staggering them. As you can see, 2 in the bottom here, on the side there, again, 2 there, in between, 2 there, in between, and then in between, just smaller holes, okay? Let's go ahead and try one of these big ones. It's gonna be the same concept. Gonna take my soldering iron, center hole, so I got my 5 cross with a center. I have more room, so I'm actually gonna make more. Just smaller ones. This soldering iron is pretty awesome. That looks so good. And I'm gonna make holes on the sides. Okay. All right. Bunch of holes in the bottom. So I made a cross with the bigger holes, and then I supported it with some smaller holes. I went up again the sides, and then I went up and staggered again. Can't stress enough, guys, I love aeration. I think those, you'll see people use those 4x9 or 3x9 tree pot containers. I wish I was at that level where I could just trust that the roots are growing. I'm a very visual person. I just want to see it. So again, I love these containers. Super affordable solo cup options. Smaller sizes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep plugging away here, guys. So here's a little bit of a close-up here, guys. Just my soldering iron, center. Just push through. Just like that. She's gonna go up. Just like that, guys. Super easy with the soldering iron. All right, so we'll do this 20-ounce solo cup here. Soldering iron. If you guys ever tried this with a drill, it just cracks. I highly recommend using the soldering iron technique, guys. Makes it so easy, especially if you have a lot of cuttings. All right, guys, so for these lids, make sure to save them too. What I do is I kind of cut out this circle area here to make a bunch of holes, like so. And then just run it through. Yep, so I got a hole. Just gonna clean it up. Yeah, just like that, guys. So all I do is once I get my soil media in there, my fig cutting, I just go ahead and seal it all in with a lid, okay? So that's why I really like these containers, especially when you have the lids. So let me go ahead and give you guys a close-up of this lid again. They generally have this little circle that I'm just gonna follow as a guide. All I'm gonna do is just follow around that circle, just making little holes close enough so that it cuts through. I'm just gonna connect them all like so, and they cut off. And we have a hole. All right, guys, so that's how I make my containers for my fig cuttings. Like I said in the past, I used to drill them. They came out horrible. They would crack. This soldering iron, I can't say it enough, just worked out perfectly. Obviously, this isn't enough for my fig cuttings that I got going on for my tent, but it's a great start. I'm gonna keep plugging away here, guys. The episode for today, we went ahead and made some soil mix using HP Pro Mix M and some perlite. We went ahead and showed you how to make some containers. Again, this episode was the prep. The next episode we're gonna do is Friday, 6 p.m. Central Time. In that episode, we should have our fig cuttings. I'm going to show you how I clean them, how I prep them, and how I get them ready to go into these. But I appreciate you watching our first episode here. I hope you're excited. I hope you learned something. That's really key here, guys. If you did, please hit that like button. Please let me know in the comments what you learned today. Again, this is Homer from Basement Figs, Elgin Noise Zone 5. Catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.